guys, welcome back. It's Josh with the Financial Advisor Car Guy. This week we're going to talk about a new breed of super truck. If you think back historically, there's only a few real super trucks out there. You know, I'd call the Ford Raptor one of those, probably the Dodge TRX or the Ram TRX. There are a few other souped up, Chevy builds one. You know, there's a few other iterations of, you know, your F-150, your Silverado, your Ram, whatever. They've got the, I don't even know, off-road packages and all the different things. And you can get them supercharged, you can get them turbocharged, you can get these trucks to be built the way you want them to be, whether they're, you know, again, supercharged or not. Well, Ford has recently, this last week, revealed that they are going to build a new super truck based on the Ford Lightning. So they're going to be the first major player to the super truck arena utilizing an EV. And that sounds crazy to a lot of people, but I don't know. I'm not going to hate on it until I can see one, maybe even drive one. I've got a Mustang Mach-E, right? That's my wife's daily. It's actually been great. You know, EVs are fast, instant torque, you know, all the things. And I feel like you combine that with the off-road performance of, say, a Ford Raptor, kind of mold the two together, and I got to imagine it's going to be incredibly fun, really. So that's kind of my hot take real fast, you know, unpopular opinion maybe, but it is what it is. I just think it's kind of a fascinating concept because they've taken, you know, wild success with the Raptor, right? Truly wildly successful truck. And the Ford Lightning hasn't really sold as well as they would like. And really it's gotten a bad rap. A lot of it has to do with towing capacity and those kind of things. And, you know, the overall range isn't great if you're trying to, tow a camp trailer or a work trailer or a boat or whatever it is. It just doesn't, it eats into the mileage and the range that the truck has. And it's just a challenging vehicle to have as an EV, but they need one because everybody else builds one. You now have the Cybertruck, right? Of course, you've got the EV Hummer, you've got all of the GM products and things. And so, you know, the long and short of it is this was a long time coming, but also kind of something, the writing was on the wall. We kind of saw this coming because, again, EVs can be incredibly fast vehicles. So the Switchgear is, I mean, again, it's like a Raptor with an EV engine in it. It's going to be about 580 horsepower and 775 foot-pounds of torque, which is just ridiculous. It's going to have Fox shocks. It's going to have all the same suspension goodies. It's going to have a wide body, fiberglass, and probably carbon fiber pieces all over it. And it's going to have, you know, it's going to be lifted with 37s, and that's how it's just going to roll off the assembly line. So kind of an interesting concept to think about because realistically, again, they've been wildly successful with the Raptor. And, you know, I don't know. You circle back to range, right? I started to say the Lightning has gotten a bad rap because of its range. The moment you hook a trailer up to it, it goes from like 320 or 350 miles of range to like 200 quickly. And until they perfect supercharging and super fast charging and all that stuff, it's not a super great alternative. I wouldn't go from my Raptor to a Ford Lightning at all. So there's that. But again, if they're taking this super truck approach, and how many people are truly going to tow? I'm probably pretty rare. I tow a camp trailer with my pickup. I think that's fairly rare. I think there are people that buy their Raptors for light duty hauling and towing and things, but really they take them out into the desert, take them out into the woods. They just play with the trucks. They aren't utilizing them as pickup trucks all the time. If they... If they were, you'd probably want to get a standard F-150, right? A gas or diesel or whatever it is. And so an EV is not necessarily ideal for a standard pickup. But when you're looking for a performance pickup, that's where Ford engineers decided it is absolutely critical that they build a Lightning type of pickup that's like the Raptor. So the Switchgear is what it's called. I'm excited to see one. I don't think they're coming out until like the end of 26, so it'll be a minute. But the concept trucks are out there. You guys can search YouTube, look elsewhere for information about them. I don't know all the specs. I do know, again, 580 horsepower, 775 foot-pounds of torque. The current rumor is that it's going to have a range of about 320 miles under normal circumstances. I got to tell you, I think that's probably okay because I am lucky to get 350 mileage range in my Raptor as it is now. So I don't know. I don't put that many miles on my Raptor. I fill up once or twice a month, depending on how far I'm driving and where I'm going and hauling and doing all the things. But in the winter, when I'm staying close to home and I'm just commuting kids to school and to and from work, I might fill up one time in a month. And that doesn't seem like very many. 350 miles or whatever-ish isn't very much. But in an EV, you've got to deal with the other things like we've dealt with the Mach-E. Doesn't like cold weather, right? The range depletes pretty quick. Again, towing capacity. If you've got weight in the truck, range depletes. And so there's going to be hurdles. And I don't know, I wouldn't be shocked if by the time the truck truly comes out, they have better battery technology. Or they just put a bigger battery into it, right? To help counteract all the negative that's out there when it comes to these EV batteries. I was reading along those lines, I was reading that there's another battery company out there that's suggesting that in the next 3 years, I want to say by 28, something like that, that battery replacement in an EV will be 1/2 the price of a new gas engine. I don't know what numbers they're utilizing. I don't know if they're using, dealership markup, labor, all that stuff. I don't know. I mean, right now, if I had to go to Ford to put a new motor in my Raptor, if they even can get a 6.2, it's going to cost me a freaking fortune. I mean, I've got to assume 5, 6, 7 grand. If my wife's Mach-E, the battery just dies, I think currently that's something like an $8 or $9 or a $10,000 fix. So if they can get that to be half the cost of the engine, again, if we assume about $8,000 for an engine, does that mean that a new EV battery is only $4,000? I mean, if that's the case, that actually dramatically improves the life cycle of an EV because, you can drive it for a bunch of years, get a bunch of use out of it, put a bunch of miles on it, lots of charges. And then as the battery depletes, you can kind of pick and choose, really. I mean, if your battery stops holding a charge, you might fill up overnight. And if a day or two later, you're back on E, yeah, it's probably time for a new battery. And if you can do that for $4,000 instead of 10, that seems like a much better way to go, as opposed to, my gas engine just not firing one day, right? I mean, if something breaks catastrophic inside that engine and I have to replace it, yeah, I mean, I'm out like not just the $8,000, but however long it takes for a mechanic or a shop or the dealer to put a new engine in, and that can take weeks. So I don't know. I mean, if EV technology can advance like that, again, I'm not saying it's the perfect alternative or that I would convert all my vehicles to EV. It's not at all what I'm saying. So please don't, go down that path. But just using the devil's advocate side of things, right? It's not as bad as maybe it once was. And I think they're really working to improve it. So with all that, they can come out with these, super trucks that have EV technology. And you think about that, and that's going to compete with like serious off-road buggies, serious off-road razors, sand rails, all that stuff. I think EVs, from this standpoint, have really shown their value, and I like that. So anyway, long and short of it is they're coming out with a new truck, a new super truck, and I feel like we're going to see a lot of the other competitors doing the same. Dodge, they've sort of dabbled with EVs, right? I mean, this new Charger that's coming, or Challenger, I guess, that's coming out. I don't know. They're not really going the whole EV route the way everybody else has, and I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. Will they have a EV TRX or whatever? I have no idea. But Switchgear is a thing. It's coming. And I'll close with this. They're also going to come out with a second version of the Switchgear. And instead of it being a built off-road machine, it's going to be a lowered pickup, which is going to appeal to other people, right? It's going to be more car-like, still F-150, still pickup. But how many times are you driving around and you see a lowered F-150, like a two-wheel drive F-150 that's been lowered? I think where Ford's really done a good job with that is the whole Shelby lineup. So Shelby does the same thing. They build the engines and do all the things, but they'll supercharge a truck, put a body kit on it, lower it, paint it, put racing stripes and graphics on it and stuff. And if it's done nicely, they're pretty cool. They are. And they've got fancy interior and all that stuff. If Ford does the same thing with the Switchblade, I don't know if they're going to call it a Switchblade, but my understanding is it's the same idea, same concept. It's like a super truck, but it's going to be built for the street instead of for the dirt or the sand or, you know, whatever. And so it'll be a lowered pickup. Will it have a different body kit? Maybe. Will it be wide bodied? Probably. I got to assume it's going to be a lot of the standard body parts. And I don't know if the Switchblade is going to utilize a Raptor's bedsides and fenders or any of that stuff yet. It's still too new. The concept looks awesome. And so, you know, I'd ask you guys, what do you think? Is it something that you'd drive? Is it something that you would buy? That's really what Ford wants to know. So with that, I close. What are your true thoughts? Comment down below and let me know. Other than that, you guys, stay tuned. I'm still working on the 55, so more to come on that thing. But in the meantime, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and most importantly, remember, may every investment you make be a good one. Till next time.